Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Betsy and I make makeup and beauty history videos. And if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then I will leave a playlist of every single time period that I've done so far in the description for you. So if you love makeup or you love history, or if like me, you love both combined, then please subscribe so you don't miss where we travel to next. But today, Revolutionary War 443. Iconic, has requested that we do some Minoan makeup history. So that's what we're doing today. However, I also wanted to incorporate Mycenaean makeup into this video as well. While yes, they were vastly different civilizations, we've already done general ancient Greek makeup on this channel, so I thought I would just make this as one big video, doing a bit of a deep dive into the specific regional civilizations makeup styles of the time. Also, there's not absolutely loads and loads of information on these specific civilizations' cosmetics products, so I thought I would just do them in one video so that I didn't have to upload them separately and them only be like 3 minutes long each. So, however, they were both two very distinct Greek Bronze Age cultures, and they were also very closely related and also influenced each other quite a lot. The Minoans were centered on the island of Crete and were known for their art and their trade, while the Mycenaeans lived on mainland Greece and were a more materialistic society. So I will probably be repeating myself a lot from my general ancient Greek video here, as these specific civilizations used a lot of the same products that the general population did. However, their particular makeup styles were vastly different. And obviously I can't get every single one of these looks that I do to be as absolutely historically accurate as I would like to with my modern products, but if you would like a little visual representation of what Minoan and Mycenaean makeup may have looked like, then please keep watching. Cosmetic concoctions have been found in a number of ancient sites in Crete, in particular lotions, creams and oils that were used to moisturize the skin. As olive trees are abundant in Greece, olive oil became the leading ingredient in their cosmetics, along with beeswax, herbs, and occasionally almond and sesame oil. However, these more than likely would have been imported. Therefore, generally speaking, only the wealthier women could afford. There is also evidence from a number of sites at Crete that the Minoans in particular distilled their own essential oils, and considering that this was a Bronze Age civilization, this proves just how advanced they were, and they had at least a moderate level of understanding of chemistry to create these essential oils. Mainly, however, they would just steep herbs like rosemary, sage, and lavender in olive oil, and to create moisturizing face and hair masks they would mix these herbs with this olive oil and mix in a bit of honey as well. I've said this before many times on my channel, but a lot of ancient civilizations used a lot of honey in their skincare because honey is absolutely incredible for the skin, because it has a lot of antibacterial qualities to it and moisturizing properties as well. Olive oil is also obviously very moisturizing for the skin, but is also high in a lot of vitamins that are greatly beneficial for the skin, and the herbs like the lavender and the rosemary, like I use today, would have obviously had a soothing effect to the skin. This just goes to show that the Minoans were so culturally advanced and they actually understood the skincare ingredients that they were using and the effect that these ingredients would have on the skin. They were just using the natural versions of a lot of skincare ingredients that we use today. Typically on the face, a white powder was used, I'm assuming from cerussite lead. However, I couldn't actually find much information on what this powder was actually made from, but I think that's a fair assumption considering, again, most ancient civilizations used lead. I went for a slightly simplistic interpretation of face makeup back then and ended up not really putting a whole lot on my face, to be honest, for all the decorative eye elements. I just did a little bit of concealer to make it look like I'm slightly paler than I actually am. I didn't want this to be too opaque though, I didn't want it to look like I had concealer on, you know. And then I just went over with a slight amount of a lightening face powder because I figured I'm pretty pale as it is. If I was actually there at the time, I probably would have been fairly barefaced. It's worth mentioning now, however, that most of the people would not have been as pale as me, obviously near the Mediterranean, where everyone was either very tanned or had brown skin. So they needed to paint their faces paler to keep up with this fair-skinned beauty ideal. Like most time periods up until this point, pale skin was the beauty standard because it meant that you were rich enough to sit inside leisurely all day and not have a labour-intensive job out in the sun. See this evidence in a lot of Minoan artwork as well. Typically the women are presented with a very, very pale complexion, indicating this preference for a lighter skin tone. The Minoans use ground up minerals like lapis lazuli and malachite powder as their eyeshadow, ground into a powder and mixed with olive oil or almond oil to create a creamy eyeshadow. As we have all learned from my other ancient civilization videos, just, you know, just pointing out that I've talked about them before. You should go and watch them. Both of these semi-precious stones are highly toxic for the skin. Sounds very counteractive to say, but however, Scientists that discovered these minerals discovered that while yes, they are highly toxic for the skin, they also have protective qualities to them, and they help to prevent the eyes from getting infections, which is why they were so widely used at the time. Eyeshadow back then was not just for aesthetic purposes, it was practical and slightly medicinal as well. Again, like a lot of other ancient civilizations, they would line their eyes with kohl, K-O-H-L, and fill in their eyebrows with kohl, C-O-A-L, burned oil seeds like almonds and hazelnuts, or an ash and fat mixture. But kohl at the time, again, was not just for aesthetic reasons, it was practical and medicinal again as well, just like the eyeshadow, as the protective qualities of kohl have been shown to keep glare from the sun, sand, and infections out of the eyes. You know when American football players wear the black line on their eyes here? That is the same concept. It's to keep the sun out of your eyes while you're running around outside. The dark colour absorbs all of the light, therefore you can kind of see a little bit better. Interestingly as well, the Minoans were known for painting a white line both above and below their eyes, which I tried to replicate today. I also tried to replicate the eyeliner shape that I see in a lot of art at the time. It's obviously a little wing, but it comes out quite far in a lot of sculptures. I tried to kind of do a little eyeliner that comes out a bit far, and then I filled in with a bit more of the white. Probably not 100% historically accurate, but that made the most sense in my head, so there we are. And in most regions in ancient Greece, eyebrows were a symbol of status, intelligence, and great beauty. The thicker and darker the eyebrows, the more of an evolved woman you were seen as. And obviously, thick eyebrows are a genetic feature of people that originate from near the Mediterranean, but it was one that was so highly celebrated as well. And the Minoans used lip and cheek paint. They created it using natural ingredients like myrtle berries, pomegranate seeds, and other red pigments such as Tyrian dye, which was a red-purple pigment made from shellfish. This lip colouring was popular among Minoan society at the time for both social and aesthetic reasons, and we can see this evidenced again in a lot of their artwork from the time and in archaeological findings as well. But in conclusion, generally speaking, this is what wealthy Minoan women's makeup would have probably looked like. Vastly different to the general ancient Greek makeup style. General ancient Greek makeup was focused on very, very natural looking skin. They wanted to look like they had nothing on their faces at all. I love the eyes so much, I think they look so cool. But anyway, let's move on. Moving on to the Mycenaeans. Probably an awful transition, but okay. Based on artistic conventions, Mycenaean painters depicted women with white skin. But this was more than likely a stylized interpretation of beauty standards at the time, rather than a universal use of white face paint. This depiction even might be slightly exaggerated from the makeup that they were actually wearing from the time, but I decided to make it look as Mycenaean as possible, and I used my white concealer for this and then powdered over it with the whitest powder that I have. This is the Vichy Derma Blend powder, which I hate because it leaves such a white cast on your face. But it was so expensive that I can't bring myself to throw it away, which is why I still have it. But that means it's perfect for this look, right? But as we've discussed many times on my channel before, lead makeup was never opaque like a foundation. So a lot of these stylized interpretations of lead makeup in modern media are largely exaggerated. This look in particular was found in the Sphinx head in Mycenae. It's believed that this sculpture dates back to around the 13th century BC. There are lots of theories as to who this sculpture depicted, whether it was a goddess or not. However, it was discovered at a religious site, so it was more than likely used in some sort of religious ritual, and modern media often takes inspiration from this particular Sphinx head to portray Helen of Troy. And a lot of people think that these details on the cheeks are sun shapes. However, they are in fact flowers. More than likely, these would have been poppy flowers, as they are also highly depicted in a lot of Mycenaean sculptures at the time. The poppy flower in ancient Greek culture was associated with love spells and the goddess Aphrodite. And to do these designs and to stain the lips, they would have used a clay lip stain product. So today I decided to use my Akko Farsi. Akko Farsi is Moroccan in origin, it is not Greek. However, it is the most similar to the type of product that they would have used in Mycenae at the time. Well, that I own anyway, so that's why I've gone with that today. Another fascinating element of Mycenaean and Minoan women's beauty standards at the time was the use of corsets and belts to achieve an extreme hourglass figure. Artwork artworks indicate that a very, very slim waistline was greatly admired in their culture, and it's also possible that body modification methods were employed even at this time to achieve this look. God, I would fit right in then. I was born in the wrong generation. Jewellery was also highly prized by Mycenaean and Minoan women, and they used it to accentuate their already eye-catching, captivating looks. Hoop earrings, necklaces and bangles, perhaps not too dissimilar from what we see today, were actually commonly worn at the time. Jewellery was made from gold, glass beads and any other material that they could get their hands on in Bronze Age Greece. Minoan and Mycenaean women were also often depicted with black hair, which was often braided into long tendrils and locks. But thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed filming it, even though it's literally taken me all day. I started at 11 o'clock this morning. It's now 6 o'clock in the evening. So because of that, I probably won't be doing another one of these where I have to do 2 looks in one video for a while. But if you did enjoy this video, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I will leave a playlist of every single time period that I've done so far in the description for you. If you did enjoy this video, then please let me know in the comments, and please let me know what time periods you would like to see from me as well. Leave any recommendations that you would like to see. Sorry, this video has really taken it out of me today. I don't know where I am or what my name is. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next video as well.